So this whole thing that it took all this time to fix with the back half, the very first thing you do is unpeg it. Ah, if I could just push this out. Nope. Yeah, like I said, you have to be perfectly aligned with everything on the back half, and that does have me concerned. How do I get this unpinned? Like now that it's pinned properly in place, dear God, how do I get it out of there? Oh no! If only I could unpin the tail, but on the other hand, the tail is designed to come out if too much pressure is applied to it. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh, this will be fun. Gosh, if only the rocket nozzles, the rocket engine panel was designed to fold backwards a little bit, just a little. Except it's not. This should have been. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, there should have been some extra compensation. Yeah, there's. Okay, so there's all that. So what I want, you're gonna have to use your imagination because it doesn't do this. But what I want is I want this panel to be able to fold backwards a little bit. Now it's doing it with this hinge right here, but that's not what I want it to do. I want it to have a little bit of extra give right there. And unfortunately, there's nothing I can shave away to the point where I'd be able to fix it. So yeah, I wish that Hasbro had engineered this panel, had engineered this joint specifically to be able to fold back beyond that 90-degree angle right there. I want it to go back a little bit further. That way there wouldn't be so much stress when you're because the problem is like you pull back on this and you're putting stress on this joint when you're trying to make it bend here, but you're trying to preserve this joint, and so it creates a stress fracture here because this is the joint that you're supposed to be moving, and this is the joint that's being pressured. So like I wish that had been able to open up a little differently. So what? Step one, fold the engines back. Step two, fold the tail forward. Step three, put this back up, but put this back here. There's a CAD mistake. They accidentally, in step three, going to show them on step three, the tail is right back where it started. They made a small mistake right there. Anyways, yeah, all that effort of getting the tail out of there, now I got to turn around and put the whole thing back together again. The difference is this time I don't have to worry about the tail being in place. Boom, done. Okay, now I feel better. So side torso panels that I was going on and on about earlier. Now I got to reverse the process. God, how do I get these out of here? So I've already loosened it up with with scissors, but it's these panels that they want me to open up again because they want me to restore the chest back to where it was earlier. But getting these panels unhinged from here to here, a little more difficult than I thought it was. So I had to take some scissors, wedge it in there, and pry them out. So, but anyways, they want me to restore the chest. Looks like the rest of it's fairly straightforward at this point. Oh my God. You want me to argue with the shoulder joints that compacted down that far? Really? God. Eesh. Okay, they could have. I don't think they really needed to tab those wingtips in the way they did. That's, what's the phrase? Sketchy? There, it's done. What do you think? Okay, yeah. See, this is why it pays to look at the instructions first because they want me to unpeg the legs and the nose and everything like that. Flip the nose around like I described earlier, which is I did say this is the part I was looking forward to. Get the little doggy face out of there. Okay, so here's the question: can I flip the nose around without? Oh, I have to pull it apart because the smokestack is inside of the nose, and I got to get to that. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. Okay, so anyways, smokestack's on the inner side of the nose. How do I get this out of here? It's fairly easy. I like that those are hidden in there, by the way. I do, like, yeah, I can live with that. Oh, do I want to flip these around first? Oh yeah, I want to flip the nose around first. Okay. That's cool. I like that. I like that. Brilliant. And unfortunately, the way this is set up, you will not be able to have the smokestacks out all the time. You can't do it. They won't let you. You have to put it away each time. Oh, the smokestacks have been painted black, but in order to get it out of here, you have to use one of the gun barrels. Fuck this shit. I'm not even gonna scratch it up. It's actually very easy to scratch the black paint. Gosh, if only they'd molded it in black, it wouldn't have been such a problem. Whatever. Hello. Who are you? Oh, there's two different. Oh yeah, there's another piece in here. Something slides downwards. Oh. Um. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm glad I saw that joint right there. Yeah, I knew that something slides down, but I didn't know what. Some sort of, I don't know steam train terminology, but there's some sort of. It's not a cow catcher. It's something else. It's not a cow catcher. I know what a cow catcher is, but this is not it. Okay, that comes all the way down, and it does snap into position. Okay, but there's some sort of panels to either side of the steam section, the steam cylinder, whatever it is. I don't know what the panels are called, but they actually slide down independent of rotating the noses of the two vehicles around, and also independent of the smokestack coming out. I wouldn't mind Astrotrain being a bullet train. That wouldn't bother me. It's just the way that the classics version did it screwed it up. So, and I would not have put a tab there. No, and I wouldn't put it. Oh God, I would not put tabs there. No. I have no idea what the G1 Astrotrain's train mode. I have no idea what that was based on originally, so I can't make comment on like how accurate it looks to a real train if that was ever the case. Does that go under? Oh, the noses. Oh God. Oh, maybe it doesn't. Oh, it does. No, that's there on purpose. Okay. Something's up here. Something's not lining up properly, and I don't know what it is. By the way, for the record, this looks badass. But something's out of alignment. I'm not certain what it is. It's not the wheels from the wings. It's not the nose. It's not the thighs. It's not the knees. Something's out of alignment, and it's right in the middle. There's something that's definitely out of alignment here because I can see there's by the way, painted lines like steam. There's pressure lines or whatever it is that have been painted that go from front to back, and I can see they curve, they bend right in the middle here at this point. So something's out of alignment. I'm just not certain where, or I'm not certain. I'm sorry, I'm not certain how it's out of alignment. So um, that might just be the way it is, and there's not a whole lot I could do about that. I mean, it's so close, but it's close enough. It's kind of like looking at this thing. You can very much tell it's out of alignment. Okay, so you can kind of tell, and I'm looking at it here in person. Like, yeah, that's something is definitely bending in there. I just don't know what can I do to fix it. Like, do I bend the wings more? Do I bend the hips more? Which one do I? I kind of think at this point like I shouldn't fight it too much more. It's strange, so strange. Like, oh, all right, I'm not done with that yet. Okay, so here's the train mode. Yay. Um, yeah, okay, and then the tender. I'm not going to bother. Oh yeah, the guns. Of course, the guns get attached on the outside. Because why not? Of course, the guns get attached. Why wouldn't they? And then take this thing, and again, this. Oh boy, the friction on this. Holy shitballs. Getting it on there, it feels all well and good. But it feels solid once you attach it. Oh yeah, now you can see how it's curved a little bit. Dude, I totally want a Hogwarts Express repaint of this. You know, there was a repaint of Classics Astrotrain. He was like white and orange and blue. If they modified it a little bit so it was primarily red, they could totally pull off the exact same character just with a different color scheme. Call it the Notwarts Express or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, here is Astrotrain in his train mode. And holy shit, the detail goes on forever. Wow. And you've already looked at the tender too, to some degree or other. It's just some stuff that exists. I don't care. He doesn't have rocket engines on the back unless you pull this off, and then there's your rocket engines. There's your G1, whatchamacallit, right there. They were well aware of it, and they're giving you the option, you know? Wow. And then the nose, or whatever, the front of a... I can't see what I'm doing. The front of the train looks very nice, and then the headlight is painted silver. Decepticon logo's right there, by the way. That's very nice. And you can see along here, more of those colored pipes that were painted, were deliberately painted. And then I don't know what that's called on a train. That's where the engineer and the I don't know train terminology. That's where the engineer and his assistant sit right there. So that's is that painted? Yes, that's painted. Yeah. Then we've got four wheels, two up front, two in the back, and do these turn? Yes. Okay, so we actually have six wheels here. But again, because this is also, and I'm exaggerating, because it's also slightly curved, I probably will never be able to get all six wheels to sit on the ground at the same time. In fact, I know I can't. So something, I think, like after I'm done making the video and I've transformed it a couple of times and looked at it and more teeth went like, oh, yeah, okay, man, yeah, that makes sense. But yes, very nice, very nice. Out of scale, obviously, because like the front of the train, the diameter of the front of the train is not the same as all the stuff that's up here. You can actually see it here. The diameter here versus the diameter here, very different. So yeah, don't ask me if this is G1 accurate. I don't even. I don't know. Um, but yeah, this turned out really, really nicely. You could almost leave that up, I think. I'm not going to mess with it. Wow. Wow. Very good. Very, very good. I honestly don't think they could do it aside from the colors, which I just prefer the white and black shuttle, which obviously would be carried over here, and then it could be a black train, a black iron train or black steel train, I guess. And then you could totally flip this around because of the way the joint works. You have to be able to turn that around. Okay, now for the fun part. Oh, it looks like all of it attaches to the tend or the coal tender, which I don't think you could. No, you can't. You can't attach it to the train mode by itself. Or to the engine. Hmm. And where's the missile pod go? Oh, the missile pod goes exactly where I pointed it out earlier, doesn't it? Goes behind the feet. Okay, yeah. Oh, so that's actually exactly where I pointed out earlier. It's like, oh, you can store the missile launcher somewhere else. Well, there you go. You can actually put the missile launcher right there. And then there's all those guns that are completely hidden in the gray and the purple. So, yep, that's the justification for making a leader class figure. Is it's got this whole back half here and all these guns and things. Wow. This is neat. Honestly, I'd say the only problem with it is it's a modern day leader class figure, so it's kind of on the smaller side. If this had been made 10 years ago, let's see, 10 years ago would have been 2011. If this had been made 10 years ago, it would probably have been like 2 or 3 inches larger. That's not what she said. But yeah, why are those wheels there? I don't understand. There's a pair of wheels. Oh, I know why. Okay, so I might as well address it while I'm here. So when you get the platform shoes, all right, I'll just pull one out. These wheels are specific. There's a pair of wheels underneath the feet. This is the right foot that I'm holding in my hand here. So there's a wheel right here. And it's there for the crawler transporter mode, and it's also there for the city mode or the platform mode or whatever it is. That's what that wheel is for. But I noticed earlier it's jointed, but it only moves down just like a couple of degrees. And I couldn't understand why. Why doesn't it do that? And it occurred to me, I don't know how well you can see it. Let's see, I'm going to put it right there. You see the wheel is sticking up or sticking down, and then it disappears. Well, I was trying to think, like, why would there be a wheel there, but it has so little movement? And then I realized, oh, if it didn't move, then when this is a platform shoe, it would rest unevenly and it would be able to roll around. So that's why that wheel moves. It's almost not worth it. Well, it kind of is and it kind of isn't. I suppose that's the simplest way that they could get a little retractable wheel in there. Like it goes down when it's in crawler mode, but then it naturally folds up when it's a foot pad or when it's in the city mode or something like that. Okay, I get it. So, wow. Wow. I think the train mode is probably the best. Like it's got some very obvious, really thick panels on the side here, and the diameters obviously do not match. They do not line up at all. They're supposed to, but they don't. But that again, that's kind of the triple change. But that being said, with the exception of this, which is both good and bad, this may very well be. I have to be careful how I say this. This may very well be one of the best triple changing Transformers brand name Transformers that I've ever owned. And that's that's not a difficult thing to do because I've got, for example, oh boy, this guy's covered in dust because I haven't touched him in almost over 10 years. Imagine that. I've got animated Blitzwing, for example. This is his tank mode. Does that really look like a tank to you? And the answer is not really, because he's got just stuff and junk and more stuff. Yeah, I know you're not supposed to look at the bottom, but like, it had good intention, but it in no way does that look like a tank. It doesn't even look like an animated tank. And quite frankly, I've forgotten how to transform him, and you can tell because like all the paint's covered up by dust. That's a hell of a dust money right there too, by the way. Bad idea. Yeah, now you can see the colors. There you go. So anyways, this is a triple changer, and like I keep this because like nice try, but that being said, there's an awful lot you have to ignore when it comes to the tank mode. And then the jet mode, he's got massive tank treads on him. So like proportionately, yeah, it's kind of a nice idea, but in practice as a toy, it's like there's issues with it. So I would not say that this is not a good triple changer. There's a lot there are definitely problems with it. And you're going to go back there, and now I'm not going to touch you for another 10 years. That's how I feel about you. Let's see. So that was Blitzwing. Oh, and then there's animated Shockwave sitting up there with his little crane arm right there. You want to point that way? With his little crane arm sitting right there. Animated Shockwave. It's an H tank. There's no way to avoid it. But there's a couple of like engineering problems, like how you extend the legs and is that right? The legs? How does that work? Oh yeah, just the way they. No correction. Animated Shockwave is actually a quad changer. He changes into four things. Um, but yeah, in terms of like Transformers and that's just two animated examples right there. But in terms of triple changers, I got to think of all the triple changers I've gotten over the years. I had to do a little stretch break right there because like I've been sitting for over an hour now. Oh, this video is gonna be so long. But on the other hand, he's a triple changer. So what do you expect? Oh yeah. Anyways, I was talking about being one of my best triple changers from Transformers brand name. Um, Actually, I've got a number of Transmetal Beast Wars, and some of them are good and some of them are not. Regardless of what I think of Beast Wars overall, and then I've got those two animated figures, and I didn't have access. I don't have access to all my Transformers in name or in brand name, but I took a quick look around. What was it? Snapdragon, which was Earthrise Snapdragon, which I just got a couple of months ago. That's a good one, with the sole exception of perhaps um, the shoulder joint, or I'm sorry, the elbow joints are really tight. Whether it's this or this, but like overall, Snapdragon's not a bad figure, except for having to deal with the arms. Um, there's a number of the Transmetal Beast Wars figures. Let's see, how do I do this? I just finished doing this, and I'm thinking to myself, of all the triple changing Transformers I've got, this may very well be one of the best ones I've ever gotten. And you put that down. Oh, Astrotrain totally has visible head syndrome when you look at him from the bottom. There's his head right there. Okay, note to self: flip the head around when you go to train mode. Okay, whatever. But yeah, this may very well end up being one of my favorite triple changers. Just in terms of getting him from one mode to other, the other might be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but I suppose that's just modern day CAD engineering, so whatever. But this may very well end up being one of my favored triple changers, and I don't have many of those. I really don't. Now, obviously, I've got a lot of Super Sentai DX Robos, and all of them are triple changers. In fact, I've got Metroplex right here. Technically, he's a triple changer. I've got Titans Returns Triptychon. I've got G1 reissue Fort Max. All the big ones. Obviously, the big ones, they're all triple changers, and so it's like, yeah, I'm currently eyeing. Was it Earthrise or Kingdom Scorponok, which is the Titan class? It was a real big one. I'm giving that serious consideration. I've wanted a G1 Scorponok for a while now, but I've had a couple of third party opportunities that I've deliberately turned down. I'm like, oh, they look so good, but I don't want to. So I've done that a couple of times. Anyways, of all the triple changers I've got, I think this one is going to be one of the good ones. And he's complicated because he's a modern day figure. But that being said, um, this speaks to the. Oh, I was just looking at. I just realized this guy is a waist swivel, and he never ever uses it in the transformation. Huh? Who knew? So, anyways, what was I saying? As a triple changing figure, this scratches the itch. I'm fairly confident in saying this scratches it. Not only does it scratch the itch as a triple changer, but it's complex enough. It's almost like it's like looking at some third party triple changers, which I have. See, I've got you and I've got you. Those are the only two third parties I've got. Neither one of them is a triple changer. Um, and they are really complex for third parties. They're nice and complex enough. But I've also looked at enough of the third party triple, or I'm sorry, just third party transformers in general, and playing around with this makes me think of a third party. Like if this was not officially Hasbro and Takara doing this, I would say, oh, this is a really great trip. This is a really great third party. So I think they really brought their A game when it comes to Siege and Earthrise leader class Astrotrain. I think they really brought their A game on this one. Would I recommend this for kids? Probably not. It's complicated enough. I mean, like I think this one's aimed a little more at the fans than it is at. Wait, can I really? Is that on purpose? Maybe. Not sure. Would I say that this is appropriate for kids? I'm inclined to say no. I think this is like, even though it's aimed at kids, but should kids really get this? I'm inclined to say no, because like there's enough uh, there's enough fine, not the physical detailing, but how it transforms is kind of complicated enough. It might be frustrating for kids. I think definitely the engine block here with the arms, getting them all flipped around, and I said it earlier. Oh, you have to be very precise with it. I think when it comes to precision, you have to have everything perfectly lined up. That's the point where I say no, it's not for kids. So like just for the engine block alone, getting this figured out, that might be frustrating enough for kids that you don't want to mess around with it. Um, I might even say dealing with the inner leg stuff, dealing with folding the smokestack in and out of there, which by the way that's really difficult to do. Flipping the smokestack around, and then the side panels on the front of the train mode, like it's kind of complicated enough. I would not recommend it for kids. So um, I think it's a good figure. There isn't really anything where I think I'm kind of in agreement, like with everybody, like this is good except for when you open it flat, then it becomes a problem. But beyond that, I mean, it makes for a great tender. It makes for a half-assed launch pad. It makes for a really shitty crawler transport mode, but it makes for a really good weaponry container. I can't really argue with that. Also, getting the engine blocks out of here. This is so difficult because it has to be aligned perfectly, and it's that stress thing. Like I wish it was aligned. There's just one area it could unfold a little better than it did. Just. I almost want to take the tabs off those forearms, but if I did that, it would have no way of. There we go. If I did that, it would have no way of pegging solidly into place. Maybe shortening the tabs might be the answer to that. Not certain. I think I made a good choice with this one. I might not transform him very often, but I think I made a good choice with this one. Gosh, it's hard to get those fists out of there. That's what she said. Getting those fists out of there, good lord. That's hard. Definitely one of the highlights, though, is all the weapons you get access to. That's definitely, yeah, I like that. I don't associate Astrotrain with having a lot of weapons. It just like it doesn't happen. It's not to say that the character never did. Just like I don't associate Astro, like in my mind, like that's not what Astrotrain is. I don't know why they bothered with the siege um, battle scuffing marks or whatever it is. Like why did you even bother with? And this is a reissue. You could actually save yourself a couple of pennies by not painting those on there. Eh, not certain how I feel about having this huge backpack on him though. That's very obviously some alt mode kibble that's like significantly there. And I kind of wish you could like flip these open and maybe have these line up with I wish like these could line up with the wings, or maybe like to make the wings bigger or something like that. So the arms are really tiny. I will say that. So that's a bit of an issue. But I mean the arms are posable enough. I'm not opposed. I wish they had the name for this weapon on the instruction booklet. That would have been nice. Oh, maybe it's on the. Now that I think about it, maybe it's on the box, and I just wasn't paying attention. What did they call it again? Omni-Force orbital cannon. That's great. The Omni-Force orbital cannon. Good lord. So yeah, robot mode's got some kibble, but it's good that they gave it some platform shoes. That's actually good. I'm glad they did that. That would have indeed have been a that would have been an issue with me. Siege slash Earthrise Astrotrain. Yeah, I would call it worth it. I think that's worth it. Absolutely, it is. Good posability. I think the tender really helps out a lot. Being able giving it a bunch of different guns gives you a lot of options to work with, and you can always give them to other figures. If you don't like it, it's a good excuse to give it to some other figures. But I think the only thing that might be a little on the troublesome side is there's no ankle movement whatsoever. But on the other hand, it's got these platform shoes, so you don't have to worry about it tipping over from said ankle joints. So I suppose that's the sacrifice you have to make if you want to get this big backpack thing going and this big cannon on the other side here. So I think how many posable transformable figures have we had over the last 30 plus years that have had ankles that don't pose, but you can kind of compensate by having a thigh swivel and ankles and knees and or I'm sorry, knees and hips. So yeah, this is pretty good, and it's very G1 cartoon accurate, at least in terms of the appearance of the different models. Like yeah, absolutely, I can live with that. Absolutely, I recommend it. And so with that, this is AV Unit 4A saying thank you very much for tuning in.